Alright, welcome to task 20, adding fractions to with uncommon denominators. So we have looked at adding fractions with common denominators, and now we're going to look at them with uncommon denominators. So we've kind of done a snippet of this in comparing fractions, but now we're going to kind of dive a little bit deeper. All right, so we need, in order to add or subtract fractions, we need the same denominator. All right, which is the same bottom. This is also called the common. It's also called common, okay? So in order to do that, there's a process, and we need to follow that process every time. So the process for that is let me back up a minute. There's a process to find the least common denominator, and the least common denominator, the LCD, is directly related to the LCM, which is the least common multiple. You can find the LCM and then figure out what you need to multiply the number by in order to get to the LCM, and then that would ultimately be your LCD. And basically, if if your LCM is, say, 6, you're going to need to multiply a 2 times 3 to get 6, and you have to multiply a 3 by a 2 to get 6. This is one method. That is not the method that I'm going to show you how to do. The method I'm going to show you how to do relies solely on just finding a common denominator, so a CD, if you will, and not the LCD. So just a common denominator. So finding just a common denominator, I'm going to show you this process, and ultimately this process works for every single problem. So you're going to find a common denominator, you're going to add or subtract your fractions, and then at the end you're going to simplify them. So what you're going to do is you are going to set up your fraction on the left and your fraction on the right in these parentheses. You are going to take this denominator on the left, and you are going to put it in the right fraction, and you are going to put the denominator on the right in the left fraction. Okay? And so once you do that, okay, everything's going to kind of fall into place. So we're going to take this 3 and we're going to put a 3 on the top and the bottom. And then we're going to take this 2 and we're going to put it on the top and the bottom. And then ultimately what you have here, if we kind of split it for a second, okay, is you have something playing out here where you are going to multiply these top pieces, and you're going to put it here, and you're going to multiply these bottom pieces, and you're going to put it here, and you're going to get another fraction. All right, because if you start with a fraction, you need to end with a fraction, right? You started with a fraction on top, and you need to end with a fraction on the bottom. So what you had on top there was 2 times 2, which gets you 4. And on the bottom, 2 times 3, which gets you 6. Now, if we do the same thing here, okay, if I multiply, oops, I wanted the highlighter. If I wanted to multiply on top and put them here, okay, and I want to multiply the bottom here and put them here. Ultimately, remember what I'm going for. I'm going for a common denominator, so I want the bottoms to be the same. So I multiply the tops, 1 times 3, and I get 3. And I multiply the bottoms, 2 times 3. Well, my brain's one step ahead of me. 2 times 3. and I get 6. The plus gets dragged down, so I'm still adding. And I have the bottoms that are the same. And now I don't change them because when I add, I don't change the bottoms, just like in the last video. 6 on the bottom stays on the bottom. And 4 plus 3 on the top gives me 7. I simplify just like I did in my last video. And now I'm good to go. All right, so on this next one, we're going to want to follow the same process. We're going to want to set up those parentheses on either side. We're going to want to take the denominator from the left, move it to the right, denominator from the right, and move it to the left. So we're going to put a 5 on the top and the bottom on the left. We're going to take the 4 on the left and put it on the right, top and bottom. And then we are going to do our multiplication here. And we are going to write our fraction. So 5 times 1 gives us 5. And 5 times 4 gives us 20. And we're going to add the multiplication from over here. 2 times 4 gives us 8. And 5 times 4 gives us 20. We have our common denominator. So we have the 20 on the bottom. 5 plus 8 gives us 13. We can't simplify, so we are done. All right, we're going to do the same thing on this next one. Set up our parentheses. 2 comes over, top and bottom. 8 comes over, top and bottom. We're then going to multiply. And we're going to get 8, oops, that's a little bit light, 8 and 16. And we're going to do the same thing over on the right. And we are going to get 6 and 16. We are going to add across the top and get 14. We're going to keep the bottom and get 16. And then we are going to cut in half, because they're both even, essentially factoring out a 2. So we're going to get 7 over 8. All right, on this next one, letter D, we're going to set up our parentheses. We're going to take the 5 from the left. We're going to put it on the top and the bottom and the right. We are going to take the 8 from the right, and we're going to put it on the top and the bottom on the left. We are going to multiply on the top and the bottom of our left fraction, and we are going to get 32 over 40. We are going to add, okay, we're going to multiply over here, and we are going to get 5 over 40, and we are going to get 37 over 40. And we are done. Can't simplify that one. All right, so how are we going to do 3? Ultimately, we need to get all of the bottoms the same. So we want to multiply each of these fractions by what the others don't have. So I'm going to rewrite this one as I go through it, just so that each of my fractions has a little bit of space. So 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 1/6. Okay, so I'm going to add this here, add this here, I'm going to add this here. Okay, now when I do this, this 1/3 goes to here and here. This 1/4 goes here and here. And this 1/6 goes here and here. Now there's a lot of arrows going around, but basically I'm going to erase them and I'm going to show you again in slow motion. Okay, so let's start with the 3. Okay, The 3 in the first fraction has to go to the 2 other places. So we have it here and we have it here. The only place we don't keep it or give it to is the one that we have it. Does that make sense? All right. Now the 4 needs to go to the 2 places that it isn't. So it's not going to go in that middle one. It's going to go over here and over here. And when we do it, remember we're multiplying. So we can put the dot there. And then the 6 is going to go again to the 2 places it's not. So it's not going to go to the one that's attached to it. It's going to go here and here, here and here. Okay, so now we have basically 3 separate problems, and then we're going to add at the end. Okay, so we're going to multiply the top and we're going to multiply the bottom. So what do we get? Well, we get 4 times 6 times 1, which is 24, over 4 times 6 times 3. That's 24 times 3, which is 72, and we're going to add. Now, if I did this right, I should get 72 again on the bottom each time. So the middle one, 3 times 6 times 1, that's 18. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 times 4 is 72. Right, 18 times 4. 2, 3, 7. Good. Okay, on the third one, do the top. 3 times 4 times 1 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 6 is 72. All right, my bottom stays the same because all my 72s match. I get 72 because I don't touch the bottom. And then I have 24 plus 18 plus 12. 18 plus 12 is 30 plus 50, plus 30, plus 24 is 54. They're both even, so I'm going to cut them both in half. I'm going to get 27 over 36. Those are both divisible by 3, so I'm going to get 9 over 12. Those are both divisible by 3, so I'm going to get 3 over 4. And I'm all done. All right, if we do the same process on this next one, let's look. I'm going to bring it down so I have a little bit more room, and I'm going to kind of move it over just because that one took up some space. So I'm going to get 3 over 8 plus 1/10 plus 3/16. Okay. All right, so I have a fraction bar, fraction bar, fraction bar. All right, so the 8 I'm going to put here and here. I'm going to put here and here because again, I'm putting the 8 where I don't have an 8. I'm basically, if I have let's go on our candy theme. If I have a Twizzler, I want everyone else to have a Twizzler. If I have a Snickers, I want everyone else to have a Snickers. If I have a Baby Ruth, I want everyone else to have a Baby Ruth. Okay? So I need to have everything that everyone else has. I need them to have everything that I have. Okay, so now the 10. The 10 is in the middle, so I need each of the sides to have it. So I need to have a 10 here and here. And whatever I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. So the left has it, the right has it, the tops and the bottoms have it. And then this 16, top and the bottom of the left has it, top and the bottom of the middle have it. All right, so then I am going to kind of separate a little bit of crunch in space on the left, but then I just have my multiplication to do. Okay, so $16 times 3 is 48, times 10 is 480, and 16 times 8, I'm going to have to come up here and do that one. 48, 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12. So that's 128. 128 times 10 is 1280. All right, and I'm adding 8 times 16. Again, that's 128. So 128 on top, and the bottom, 1280, plus 8 times 3 is 24, times 10 is 240. And again, if any of these math facts you need a little time, just pause the video and do your math facts, use your multiplication chart, use good old-fashioned multiplication, showing your work using that scratch paper. And the bottom is 1280 again. All right, so I'm adding 480, 240, 128. 8, 12, 14, 4, 6, 7, 8. I have 848 over 1280. All right, this is going to take some time to simplify, but ultimately I have two even numbers. So if I cut those both in half, I get 424 over 640. Again, I do get 212 over 320. If I do it again, I get 106 over 160. Then I get 53 over 80. And that's where I end. 53 over 80. All right, so on the bottom, my first rule is make every whole number a fraction. The way you do that is you by putting it over 1. Second, make all mixed numbers into improper fractions. All right. So we don't see number 1 here, but we do see number 2. We have mixed numbers. We want to put them into improper fractions. So remember the process. We're going to multiply these. We're going to add the top. We're going to keep our denominators the same, meaning you're going to keep them what they are. So on the left it's going to be 4. On the right it's going to be a 6. We need to change that, but we can't do it in this step. So I'm going to get 21 on the left. I'm going to get 31 on the right, because 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 1 gives me 31. Now I'm going to go through the process I used up above, because I'm at the same point that I was up above. It's just adding one step. I'm going to set up my parentheses. I'm going to bring the 4 over, the 6 over. I'm going to get 126 over 24, 124 over 24, and I get 250 over 24. They're both positive numbers, so I can cut them in half. I get 125 over 12. And that is all I can do. I'm all done. Next one, I'm going to put them into mixed numbers. So I start denominator 3, and I lucked out because I have common denominators there. 26 on top, 20 on top. I can add right away, and I get 46 over 3. I cannot simplify, and I am all done. You want to leave your answers as simplified improper fractions. And if I'm writing this, if it's something other than math or numbers, and if I'm writing it, please, please, please make sure you write it too, because if I'm taking the time to do it, it's obviously very important. All right, let's look at the next page. All right, we're going to turn them into improper fractions. There's 21 over 4 plus 7 over 6. Add those parentheses. Bring our denominators over to the other side. Oops. Simplify. And you're all done. Oh, I lied. We're not all done. Three tricked me. 75 is divisible by 3. You get 25. 12 divided by 3 gives me you 4, and it simplifies to 25 over 4. All right, same process for the next one. You're going to switch to improper fractions. Keep the denominators that you have or that you're given in that first step. You only had to do it for the 1 in this one, and then you start your process. And your answer is 56 over 15. All right, 92 over 9 for letter E. And letter F, we're going to do the same process as we did for the 3 fractions in the previous one, but we have to turn them into improper fractions first. All right, we need to simplify. 1732 plus 160, I think. I'm just going to double check my work here. All right. They're both even. So I get 866 over 80. So in half, I get 433 over 40. And I think that is going to be how far I can take it. Three. All right. And that's it, my friends. Keep watching, keep rewinding, keep reviewing, keep watching the process, keep practicing, and let me know if you need any help.